Survivor 50 is upon us, and 2 people left the show in the first episode. Obviously, spoilers aren't coming your way, so just consider yourself warned now. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm a massive Survivor fan. I think it's one of those shows that started off as kind of like a, can you believe people are doing this? They're in the jungle eating bugs, to being one of the best social experiments ever to have happened on television. So the fact that it's been on for the past nearly 26 years, still a huge ratings hit. I mean, it just shows you that we want to see people eat bugs in the jungle. We just do. And CBS brought back iconic former players for Survivor 50, both from the original era to the new era of Survivor. And it is so much fun to watch. I mean, we're talking Cirie, Coach, Ozzy, classics, but also new favorites like Kyle or Joe, or there are so many people on this cast that are Mike White. So many people on this cast that are so exciting. Now, go watch the episode to get a full sort of breakdown of what happened. But basically, there was an unfortunate turn of events with a challenge for one particular tribe that involved 2 OG faves, Cirie and Jenna. And Jenna kind of came for Cirie. Now, in my conversation with Jenna today, you'll hear that there's more that happened that maybe we didn't see, or that maybe there was someone else who was really pushing for Cirie more so than Jenna was. Regardless, Jenna got the target because she got played for putting Cirie's name out there. Now, Christian floated it, but Jenna pushed it. And Jenna says that Christian really played her in a lot of ways, and played a really good game in convincing her to go in that direction. And she has some things to say about it. And it was kind of, I mean, she even said it in her exit. She was like, first in, first out, because she's season 1. She is from the beginning. And they really were like, no, don't come after Cirie. I mean, Cirie is kind of the godfather, of Survivor. She is the GOAT. She is the one that when she comes in, everyone stops what they're doing. And I talked about that a little bit with the other person who left the show, but they left the show because of an injury. Kyle Fraser hurt his ankle and he had to leave. He just couldn't stay. And it is unfortunate because obviously Kyle's a former winner of Survivor. So I wanted to get Kyle's take on sort of the aura that is Cirie, some of the people that he maybe was looking forward to playing with, his strategy if he had stayed in the game, and kind of where he sees things going. In fact, I asked both of them who they're rooting for in the long term, because they're both just massive fans of Survivor. So it's fun to hear who they're sort of watching for the rest of the season. And I'll be talking with all of the survivors all season long. So watch this space, keep subscribed, keep all the things, because there'll be a lot more Survivor conversations coming your way. In the meantime, grab a snack, because I will be right back first with Jenna to talk about her unfortunate exit. And I should say, Jenna's, she was on a Zoom, we were on a Zoom, and Jenna's video was not working so great. So for that conversation, it's just going to be a picture of Jenna. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, it doesn't matter, but you should know that her connection was a little spotty. It's still good, but it was a little spotty. And for Kyle's chat, he will be there in all of the wonderful Kyle. So I'll be right back first with Jenna, and then I'll end things with Kyle today. It's good to see you, Jenna.
Thank you. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, I know. Well, my first question is, let's start with the good one. How did it feel to be asked to be back for Survivor 50?
It felt like a gift. Not only did it feel like a gift and an honor to be asked back, but watching the show last night, they really wrote a love letter at the beginning to me and to Survivor and the Roots and Survivor One, like us walking through the village and like my eyes leading us in. So they really did me a solid and wrote me a little bit of a love letter. So took a little bit of the pain off. But I felt honored, and I think that they did really well representing me.
Yes, I would fully agree with that. But the obvious question is, I think I've seen over the years in other iterations that Cirie's been on Survivor, people, whenever someone brings out her name, something bad happens to that person. And I think you've been added to that list. So what was the motivation behind
this wasn't Cirie. Okay. None of this was Cirie. Yeah. She'll try to take credit. This is all Christian. Yeah. Christian day one is standing next to me. We're talking about our tribe. And I say, well, this is the good, who's the threat? And he goes, I'll go sit by the threat. He goes and sits by Cirie. He comes back like 5 minutes later and he's like, did you see who I sat by? I was like, Cirie? He's like, yes. He goes, if she gets to a tribe swap or a merge, poof, she's gone in the wind. His words. And I keep telling everyone, like, I want him on a Zoom and I want him on a deposition. That was all him. He says, this is why he's playing chess. Cirie's going to take it like, yeah, it was me. Nothing was her. This was all Christian. Christian says in the episode, and they kind of give it to you as an Easter egg. He says, I'm going to be Spock and I'm going to think about everything to do. And Devins is going to do the work. And Devins goes to the water well and tells Cirie that I'm throwing your name out there. So I wasn't the first one to bring up Cirie's name.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, well then, so like, do you feel like maybe you were an unintended target of the backlash to bringing or to the conversation around Cirie?
Yes, I do think, but that's what I said to Christian from the beginning. I said, which is why I thought that he was like bonding with me over it. First off, I'll say, as soon as I landed, I felt like very disconnected from them. Come to find out, Christian's like very good friends with Emily out of the game. I didn't know this. And of course, Ozzy and Cirie. So I felt like I kind of got screwed. Like Ozzy and Cirie have each other. They've played twice. Colby and Stephanie are over here. They've got each other talking about how they have somebody, thank God for. I didn't have any of that. If I'd have been put with Colby, yeah, I'd have absolutely been like, Colby, you and I, oh my God, thank God. I wasn't given any of that. So I do feel like I was a little bit of a sacrifice. But it felt very uncomfortable and everyone had been chatting and everyone had all these friendships and I didn't have any of that. So I think, yes, I was a little bit on the backlash of Cirie, but I think also like, nobody knew me and you try to find an outlier with no connections in the first episode and only after 3 days, like it's hard. You just got to find somebody. So yeah, I was a little bit on that backlash, which I warned Christian of. I was like, Cirie will lose us challenges, not just not contribute, but she will lose us challenges. And you saw that after you saw everyone sitting there, Joe and Savannah, like she absolutely lost it. We stood there for 20 minutes. It does not show it in the episode. 20 full minutes after of her trying to throw it. They were like halfway to 3/4 done with the puzzle. It was that bad. So yes, a little bit of backlash, but I do feel like there was a little bit of like pre-gaming. I know that's going to come up from a lot of people, but so yeah, it's not just like the Cirie and like this aura. It's like, first of all, Christian set that whole thing up with Devins to keep me from going with the old school Ozzy and Cirie. Brilliant. And then let me feel like I was getting a little bit of headway with him. Yeah. So it was brilliant. It was smart, but it wasn't Cirie.
Yeah. Well, then also too, do you feel like maybe there's a bit of a disadvantage because there is definitely different generations of players. There's the old generation, or there's the original generation, I should say, and then there's the new generation, the new era. What do you think there was maybe for some of the original era players a disadvantage with some of the new era games? Because it does feel like a very different game now.
I would say the only difference, like I tried to talk to Joe and Savannah. These are the two people who just came off 48 and 49. They were not playing fast like they keep telling us. They were playing super slow. Joe was like, well, I don't want to vote for Cirie, but Joe didn't have any like secure alliances. Neither did Savannah. I kept trying at the water well. You see me like, hey, we should be making sure that we have a choice before we go to tribal. I feel like us three, we need to, like, it's not a faster game. It's the same exact game. I think the advantage goes to the people who have connections, people who have been attending all these Survivor events for years, people who have good friends in the game. That is going to be like the big defining factor. You have friends in the game that you've had connections with for years. You have somebody you can trust. You play the game differently, completely. As you saw me, when you have somebody that you can completely rely on, like Cirie, she completely knew. She was with Ozzy. She already had connections and had known Christian. Like, that's a big advantage of even how you approach the game, as opposed to like, I came in and felt that and was like, Savannah, I don't feel comfortable. Do you? She's like, no, like from the get-go. That's why I had to play. They're like, she played too hard, too fast. I'm like, I had no choice, because either I was going to play hard and get voted out, or I was going to roll over and die and get voted out.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a choice.
Well, so looking back at, I mean, your legacy on Survivor in a lot of ways, what is something that from either, originally or even just this last moment, like what is something you look back on as sort of the shining moment of your time on Survivor, something that you're most proud of?
Something that I'm most proud of. Um, it would probably be on the very first season, because the first season nobody had blueprints, right? That's why Richard Hatch won, because he was thinking in a bigger game. But when you haven't seen it play out, when you haven't seen this on TV, you just don't understand. It's so different once you've seen someone do it.
Yeah.
But on that first one, I really kind of, once we merged, I was like, hey, this is happening. So I was trying to get a bunch of people together. We got a bunch of people. We almost got Rich out on his birthday if Sean hadn't been voting alphabetically. So I am most proud that before it was ever shown to me, I kind of got the gist, and we came very close to getting the winner of Survivor One out.
That would have been iconic. That would have definitely been, well, I mean, but then again, we had never seen it before. So it would have been just it would have been a great move on your part. That's the brilliant thing about that first season.
Yep.
So
And I don't think they understand that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Well, so then my last question for you is, who of the Survivor 50 cast are you most rooting for to go very far? Who, or a group of people even?
Thank you. I love that question. Instead of all the negativity of me getting out, I want to root for someone because I am a fan.
Yeah.
I am very excited. I don't know what happens. I don't know I saw things that I didn't know happened on the island, and I was there. I'm so excited to watch. So I would love to root for Colby. Love Colby, my OG, but also like go far, Colby. Him like starting with I'm in my 50s and I'm, becoming reflective. I was like, oh my God, that is beautiful. And that's what I feel. I'm constantly going back to this. Survivor's been a part of my life longer than it hasn't. Like, that's a big deal. I want to root for Colby. I really, really want to root for Genevieve and Camilla. I would say like those three are my big, like go. Because I want to be Camilla and Genevieve. Like if I could mix the two and just be them when I grow up, eventually someday I'll be as cool as either of them.
Well, I think you're just as cool as them. I'm going to say that right now. I'll put that out there. Jenna,
Thank you.
fantastic chatting with you. Loved seeing you back on our TV, and it was short lived, but you were delightful to watch.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Jenna was feeling some kind of way, and she should. She was the first voted out. That sucks. It's never fun to be the first. Ever, ever, ever. So I give her that. I mean, but she at least seems like a good sport, and I love that she's also just a massive fan and is eager to see who goes all the way in this game. So now let's talk with Kyle, who had the unfortunate bummer of getting hurt in the first episode and had to be sent home. It actually is a bummer because Kyle's such a good player. I wanted to see him in Aussie. So yeah, listen, this is my chat with Kyle. So it's so great to see you again.
Great to see you. I mean, not too long ago.
No, it has not been too long. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't this soon that I was chatting with you again. I mean, how do you feel after the unfortunate turn of events?
I feel great in this moment, particularly. I mean, last night I watched with a lot of 48, 47, 49 people, my family and friends, and like I'm just proud of the way that like I represented myself and I tried, man. Like, survivor winner, survivor loser, but like I can't believe I get to call myself a two-time player, and if I have any regrets, it's just not getting to get the full experience. But like that's just how it shook out for me.
I mean, I will say I was monitoring on social media. People are bummed. They are bummed that you're gone. I mean, but I guess not. It's not cool to go out on an injury, but at least you weren't like targeted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Never been targeted in Survivor, for better or for worse.
You can still say that you have just one. You have just one survivor. You've never been voted off, which is a big accomplishment, I think.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, so like I want to get your take on how the episode played out, and also too like get your take on who did get voted out, really, and sort of get as a winner, as someone who has played this game so successfully. Do you think that your fellow players went in the right direction and sort of did a good gameplay with who was voted out?
Oh, interesting. For Jenna, yeah. It's tough because on the one hand, I think one key comment on that in that episode was Christian saying, it's going to be a dirty vote if it's anybody but Jenna. I know what that's like. Like sometimes consensus votes, especially early on in the game, are very important. You don't want a messy camp. You don't want people scheming and conniving and being upset about what happened. So I get that. On the other hand, you have Cirie and challenges, right? And like that could be very real. Though that's a very tough, isolated incident that maybe won't be replicated moving forward. Who knows? Ultimately, if I think it depends on who you are. Like if I'm Joe or Savannah, I think that you don't go Jenna. I don't think that's the right move. I think you have to push very hard, especially if you're Savannah, because Joe you can keep around, but who knows, honestly, how that shakes out. If you are Ozzy and Christian and Rick, though, I think that going with Cirie and booting Jenna makes sense. Truthfully, going into that game, not knowing anything of what I know, I probably would just target a 49er because I just wouldn't know Savannah. Obviously, they have a better sense of her now that they've been on the island with her. But I would just have to target the easiest person, which is the one that nobody knows about. That would have been my mindset, I'm sure. That's how my mindset was in pregame.
I mean, it does feel like that's the smart strategy, to target someone who would be the easier targets, because at least then, like, you're not I mean, I feel like putting Cirie's name out there early on actually has never worked out well for anyone in the history of Survivor.
Yeah, no, and I like facts and history and logic, the attorney that I am, and so you would never see Cirie come out of my mouth. But like that's just I'm very risk averse. Kudos to Jenna because like she knows this game, she clearly studied it, and she knows sometimes you have to be in the driver's seat too, and it just didn't shake out her way that time.
Well, so looking into what would have been your game, tell us a little bit about like where you had, if you had stayed, where would you have been navigating? What was your strategy in terms of going forward?
Yeah, so coming out of 48, I knew that I couldn't be passive. I really had to sort of take the reins, and that's what I was trying to do, but in like the right way. And so again, like I'm a fundamentals player. I build relationships first, and then I play the game with people. I said it in the show, like I mean it. That's sort of my strategy, and that's what I was doing. And I think like it either can go really well and people don't like you, or really bad and people don't like you, or really well. And I think it was going well for me in that like I built genuine connections with people, and it worked. And so I think I sort of strategically I saw it as like Genevieve being my number one, then Colby and Stephanie sort of making a foursome there that sort of organically happened. They liked Genevieve, so I was able to show some distance between me and Genevieve while having Stephanie and Colby in there. And then I had Q and Rizzo over here. Q obviously wanted to work with me, and so we sort of pulled him into that five rather. But then also Genevieve liked Rizzo, I liked Rizzo, so we kind of made this new era foursome over here. And I think Genevieve and I, right at the middle, kind of were sort of talking about like who would we go with moving forward. I was probably more partial to that Colby Stephanie, but I also really liked Q, and I was wary of Rizzo, but I like that. But Genevieve maybe was a little bit more over here. And then the last thing I'll say is I had a lot of great conversations with Angelina. And so Angelina and I decided that we were going to work together, and we sort of formed a three with me, Angelina, and Aubrey as well. I was like, okay, I'm insulated on all sides now, and I just need Genevieve to help me manage these narratives so it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah. Well, so when you're coming back into this game, especially a season like Survivor 50, and you're a previous winner, that must, I mean, I already want to keep a low profile in most situations in my life. I don't know how you can keep a low profile when you won a previous season of Survivor and you're going back for a season this big against these big of past players. Did you have any anxiety going into it about perhaps there was going to be a bigger target on your back because you had won?
Yeah, I had a ton of anxiety. I mean, I had a ton of anxiety. And the funny thing is, on 48, I had no anxiety until the moment I stepped on the beach, and then it hit me like a wave, no pun intended. And then on 50, I had a ton of anxiety, but the moment that we stepped off the boat, it left me because I know how to play this game. Like, I feel like this game was built for me from a social perspective. And so now I have to worry about the moment. When I got into my tribe, I said, this is my tribe. I have to show them who I really am, and then use that to my advantage. And like, so then my nervousness goes away because I'm integrated on my tribe, but I know I'm nervous now about a swap or a merge or wherever it may be. So I'm like, I need to think 2 steps ahead, get ahead of that. So now when Angelina goes off on a swap, she tells Mike White and Christian Kyle's a good guy. Or, when Q sees Tiffany or Charlie, like they know, like this is somebody that we want to work with. And so, yes, I had a big target on my back, but you have to play in the moment. And I think that what's cool about Survivor is the survival aspect and the social aspect of living with these people can allow you to overcome that target if you put in the work.
Yeah. Well, so like, if you had been there longer, who of the players that were there were you looking forward to? Maybe not just even within your tribe, but in general, out of everybody, who were you looking forward to perhaps playing with or competing against?
So I would have liked to just see, just from a fan, like if I'm a fan outside of my body, I would love to see what happens if like Camilla and I actually get back together. My hope would have been to try to work with her again, but I would have been like very defensive about it and like just like cautious about it. Because I think if both of us make it that far, we've done something right and we have alliances, so we can then convince people, to not turn on us. Hopefully, if we work together, but who knows? Tiffany is somebody I really wanted to play with. Ozzy is somebody I really wanted to just meet and see. And like I would have loved to like battle against like a Cirie, maybe lose, or play with her, like just see what that dynamic is like, because she's such a magician, and like every single time she does this, she gets by and she like has these inroads and alliances. So there was so much about the season that I was hoping to see unfold. But
yeah, what do you think it is about Cirie? Cirie feels like the Godfather in amongst amongst everyone there, and I feel like everyone, from what they aired on television last night to everyone I'm hearing and talking with this morning, everyone sees Cirie as sort of this aura of, she really is the GOAT in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, Cirie, her legacy is cemented in so many ways. She has a very calming presence. Look at the scene, for example, where Ozzy tells her that he has an extra vote. She
Yeah.
says, "Oh, excellent." Look at vice versa. Look at Genevieve showing me the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. My eyes are like like I'm bugging, right? Like
Yeah.
Cirie understands. I think the most important trait in Survivor is level-headedness. So that you can evaluate problems, you can evaluate people from the most objective lens, because there's never going to be a fully objective lens in Survivor. And what Cirie's gift is being able to analyze things with a level-headed nature, and also present that to everyone around her. She does it in real life. I feel comfortable around her. We were just doing the finale, the premiere week here, so I got to see her. But she also does it in the game, from what I'm understanding of her as a student of the game.
Yeah. Well, so looking forward, who are you rooting for? Either a person or a group of people that you want to see go all the way?
Yeah, I would say Camilla and Genevieve. And I got to throw my man Q in there too. I really had I really had a great time hanging out with Q. I loved everybody on my tribe, man. So like I could literally, and like people would get mad because I'd list all of them, but I really meant what I said. With like, obviously I want Camilla to win. I think me going on that boat, I said it to Jeff, I said it to Jenna when I got to Ponderosa. I think me leaving probably was very great for Camilla's game in the short term and the long term. But absent her, I really kind of like, I love my tribe. That dynamic was awesome, and so I would have been happy to hear any of their names.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Kyle, I'm bummed that you're not there. I would have loved to have seen. I would love to see you and Ozzy compete. I wanted to see that challenge. I wanted to see those things. I mean, but yeah, I have a feeling this won't be the last time we'll be seeing you on Survivor. So it's been great chatting with you again. I'm sure I'll chat with you again soon.
Great talking to you as always.
Wonderful. Take care. Have a good one.
You too.
Are you excited about Survivor this season? Because I am. And like I said before, I'll be talking with everybody that leaves this season on Survivor 50. So make sure you're watching. It airs on CBS, obviously, and Paramount Plus. So you can go watch in all the places you can watch, and subscribe and listen and all the things in this space, because like I said, I'll be talking with everyone, and there'd be so many fun things happening with Survivor 50 this season. So I'm very excited about it. Thanks so much for checking today's episode out. I really do appreciate it. You can follow me, H. Allen Scott, on everything. And in the meantime, watch something fun today and have a good one.